let's talk about one of history's most complicated characters, Herod, king of Judea. I mean, the guy gets the nickname the Great, but he's also known as an absolute monster. Lucky for us, his own secretary kept detailed notes, so we actually know a ton about his life. So let's get into it and try to figure this guy out.
Right, this is the big question, isn't it? If you've heard of Herod, it's probably from the New Testament story where he orders the slaughter of the innocents. Now, historians debate whether that specific event actually happened, but honestly, his life was so full of paranoia and violence that it feels completely believable. So how does that guy also get called the Great? Well, that's what we're here to figure out.
To really get Herod, you have to understand where he came from. He wasn't your typical Judean royalty. He was the son of an Idumean governor, which basically made him an outsider. A lot of his own people never saw him as a real or good Jew. And that insecurity, that constant feeling that he had to prove himself, it's what fueled everything, his incredible achievements and his absolute worst atrocities. Right from the get-go, he was a king fighting for his own legitimacy. And oh boy, did he fight. The man's ambition was off the charts, and he was totally ruthless. He crushed a rebellion in Galilee, but then had to run for his life when a rival invaded. So what does he do? He sails all the way to Rome, borrows a fortune, and basically buys the support of Mark Antony. And the payoff was bigger than he could have ever imagined. Antony actually goes to the Roman Senate and gets Herod named King of Judea, just like that.
But, getting a title from Rome is one thing. Actually taking your kingdom, that's a whole other ballgame. This timeline shows you just how tough it was. He gets the title in 40 BC, but it takes him 3 full years of raising an army and fighting a bloody war just to capture Jerusalem and sit on the throne they'd already given him. For Herod, being named king was just the start of the battle.
Okay, so he finally gets control. How in the world does he earn that title, the Great? Well, as an outsider, he knew he couldn't just rule. He had to dazzle. And a huge part of that was building things. The man went on an unbelievable construction spree, determined to carve his legacy into stone. And this quote says it all. This comes from rabbis who, let's be honest, had plenty of reasons to hate the guy. But even they had to admit that his masterpiece, the rebuilt Second Temple in Jerusalem, was one of the most beautiful things they had ever seen. Its splendor was just undeniable. And believe me, the temple was just the warm-up act. He built the enormous, modern port city of Caesarea from scratch. He constructed these massive, imposing fortresses like Masada and the Herodium. He completely rebuilt cities and even paid for pagan temples in other Greek cities. He wasn't just putting up buildings, he was completely transforming the entire landscape of his kingdom.
And to really put the temple project into perspective, think about this. When it was finished, Herod's temple complex was the single largest religious structure that had ever been built. Anywhere. In the entire world. It was a massive statement of power, of wealth, and, of course, of devotion.
But his greatness wasn't just about stone and marble. His political game was seriously strong too. He used his cozy relationship with Rome to protect the rights of Jewish people living all across the empire, making sure they could live by their own laws and customs. I mean, that's a huge political win that helped his people for generations. All right, so we've seen the visionary builder and the savvy politician. But there's another side of this story, a much, much darker side. Let's pull back the curtain on the man himself, because that deep insecurity of being an outsider king, it festered into a paranoia that led to an absolute reign of terror, especially inside his own palace walls. Because all that ambition, everything that drove him to build these incredible things, it came at a terrible price. That same fire also burned down his own family, leaving behind a legacy of blood that's just impossible to ignore. I mean, just look at this. This isn't just a list, it's a horror story. He suspected his 16-year-old brother-in-law was becoming too popular, so he had him accidentally drowned in a pool. He had his own wife, Marianne, who he supposedly loved, strangled because of a false rumor. Then he executed his mother-in-law, 2 of his own sons, and then his oldest son, Antipater, just 5 days before he himself died. He just systematically murdered anyone he saw as a threat. Things got so bad that there was this dark joke making the rounds in Rome at the time. It's a clever little pun, because as a Jew, Herod observed dietary laws, so he wouldn't eat pork. That meant his pigs were perfectly safe. His sons, not so much. So, what do we do with this guy? How do you even begin to reconcile these 2 Herods, the genius builder and the paranoid family killer? To really understand him, you just have to accept that he was both. He was a man of deep and, frankly, disturbing contradictions.
And this chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side you have Herod the Great, master builder, shrewd politician, brought prosperity, defended his people's rights. And on the other side, Herod the tyrant, a paranoid ruler, a murderer of his own family, a guy who ruled through pure fear. And the crazy thing is, these aren't two different men. They're two sides of the very same king.
When you boil it all down, this is really it, isn't it? His public life gave us architectural wonders that people marveled at for centuries. But his private life, driven by that deep-seated fear, created a family tragedy of unbelievable cruelty. And so we're left with this question. Herod the Great really challenges our whole idea of what a legacy is. He forces us to ask what greatness even means. Can incredible public achievements ever truly make up for private, monstrous crimes? It's a question historians are still trying to answer.